first created a course in sustainability at Case Western. The first year we did the course, we had about 5 students in the MBA program, and then the next year 20. Now we, over 60, 70 students. But Dave came to the class very early on and shared this magical phrase, building a green city on a blue lake. And I have to say that when the design team got together last year to prepare the first summit, those words resonated and continue to resonate. It's become kind of the sub-theme, building an economic engine to create a green city on a blue lake. And wherever I go, it doesn't matter what talk I'm doing or whatever city I'm in, when I use those words, people resonate. And I'd love to invite David up and give him a warm round of applause for all the just passionate time and commitment and heart and seed vision that he has provided for this work. Thank you, David.
Well, thank you very much. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I know it's been a long 2 days, so I'm going to be very brief. One of my reflections is I'm trying to think back, where did that phrase, being a green city on a blue lake, come from? And I frankly cannot remember. It just seems to have been one of those things that was in the air that people started saying a few years ago. But I'm glad that we all found it and we're all using it. And I hope it serves us well in the future. First, I just want to say that the Green City Blue Lake Institute of the Cleveland Museum of Natural History has really been honored to play a role in the planning, the management, and the communication of these 2019 summits. And we look forward to supporting all this work in the future. I know that I get calls and emails every week from around the country and even around the world that people are seeing and recognizing Cleveland as a center of innovation about sustainability. It's very exciting. I think the city should be proud of what it's doing, and I think you should all be proud of all the work that you're doing. So again, I think a round of applause for everybody who's involved in this work. One of the things these summits has kind of prompted me to do is to think back on some other things that have happened in the city's history. And one of them is the city's bicentennial that took place in 1996. And it was sort of a similar process where a large group of people came together over a number of years to plan for a big event at a deadline, and not 2019, but in this case the bicentennial. And one of the legacy products from the Bicentennial Commission was this picture book called Images from the Heart. And I had the honor to be asked to write one of the essays for the book. And the subject I was given was Moses Cleveland trees. You may have heard of these trees. These are the trees that had been alive during the time of Moses Cleveland when he first came to do the surveying of the Connecticut Western Reserve in 1796. So they were trees that were more than 200 years old. And so there's a big picture in this book of one of these ancient trees. And I was asked just to write a couple paragraphs about it. So this is what I wrote. The plaque says, "You're a Moses Cleveland tree. A committee measured the diameter of your prodigious trunk with a steel tape held chest high and certified that you date from the time of surveyor Moses Cleveland's first and only trip to the wilderness of the Western Reserve in 1796. You managed to survive 200 years of European settlement, land speculation, agriculture, lumbering, commercialization, industrialization, and suburbanization. Against disease, drought, wind, lightning, insects, soil compaction, air pollution, 1,000 small insults that weaken trees and eventually kill them, you stood stubborn. You rooted in this place and kept sowing your seeds. 200 years, 1 million seeds, 1 million hopes. Against all odds, you are going to regenerate the forest." So I think that's what we're doing here. We are going to regenerate the forest. I think that's part of this work. And I think a city is a lot like those ancient trees. A city is truly a living organism, and it lives or dies depending on all the things that happen to it every day, every week, every year. You know, each day there are, throughout the city with all the people and everything that goes on, there are millions of acts of hope and millions of acts of despair. And in the balance of all those acts as they accumulate, a city either spirals upward or spirals down in decline. And I think it's up to every one of us in everything we do to help break free from those cycles of decline and despair. So it really matters in all these different acts, and where we live, how we spend every dollar, how we get our food and energy, where we build our businesses, how we use transportation, whom we elect, the policies that we advance, and even the civility with which we interact with one another. It all matters and accumulates over time. So we must put down roots in this place like one of those old trees, invest in a sustainable future in all these different ways, and really believe in our hearts that we're going to be here as a green city on a blue lake in the next 200 years. And the earth really needs that. It needs sustainable cities. You may have heard that the dominant trend around the planet is rapid urbanization. In effect, we are building a city of 1 million people every week somewhere on the planet. 1 million people a week, that's the rate of urbanization that we're experiencing. So if we don't get cities right, develop cities that offer people a decent way of life while staying within the limits of the Earth's natural systems, we're going to have a bleak future on this planet. And so that's where we come in. Cities like Cleveland are showing the way, showing how to design and build livable ecological cities that can be as sustainable as a forest. Cities like a forest, powered by the sun, producing no waste, purifying water, building diversity, and improving the conditions for life. That's the kind of city that we can have in the future. And I think we're developing that vision and those ideas right here in Cleveland. We have the people here, we have the organizations, we have the businesses, and sure, maybe we need to get better at certain things. We need to get better at embracing change, at being strategic and setting priorities and getting things done so we can get more things done faster. You know, I'd like to see the city actually come out of this summit and say, okay, there was 100, 1,000 great ideas that came out of this, but here's a few, 3, 5, 10 ideas that the city will commit to, that the mayor is going to say, these are my mayor's priorities, and I encourage everyone to rally around those ideas, and we're going to get them done in the next year, so I can cut 5, 10 ribbons, and we're all going to feel great when we do that. All these other ideas can continue, but there's a few top priorities that we can all work on together. Maybe we need to give our leaders permission to do more things, even though they might make some mistakes. Maybe we need to do more things ourselves without necessarily asking for permission to do them. Maybe we need to get better at both giving and accepting constructive criticism, so that we can keep working together and stay at the table without holding grudges. And maybe we even need to do a better job thinking deeper, even deeper, about the nature of sustainability. But I think we're close in a lot of these things. We really can be a model of regeneration and rebirth for the rest of the world. Finally, I'll just close by saying there's a poem I like. It's called The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. And the last lines are, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? What will you do? So in the coming years, and you know, as you leave this place today, just think about how we're going to have amazing opportunities in the coming years to create a radically different city, changes that we can't even imagine yet. A city that's far more livable, far more prosperous, and far more sustainable than it is today. I really think this is our great work. This is what we're going to be doing in the future. This is our leap of faith. We really believe that this is going to happen. We can do it. We will do it. And as we leave today, let's all commit to doing it. Thank you very much.